Let's take a look at how I set up this problem. So I put in the rotational velocities on the appropriate joints as given in the initial setup, and I'll go ahead and play this now. So we see that the purple gear is turning counter or in a negative direction, and we see that the blue gear is stationary and the green shaft is turning. Now it goes and it stops, and let me just pause that right there. So it came to a stop position, and then it started turning again, but this time holding the purple shaft, and then the blue gear is moving. So I'll continue that on. So the purple shaft is held, and now the blue gear and the green gear move at different ratios. So these different ratios are how your transmission in your car goes between the different gear ratios. Now the problem we had is the purple gear not staying stationary or being held for several people. And so I'll show you how I solved this problem in a way that I had not tried before, and I was hoping that somebody would come up with a better way of doing this. And we'll go ahead and stop this. So what I did is I ended up removing a bunch of my assembly constraints, and if I go to the simulation settings, I turned off the automatic convert constraints to joints, and then I put in the joints that I want, the revolution joints that I want, and of course the rolling cylinder on cylinder joints. So the result is that if I go back to the assembly environment and I look at my relationships, some of these parts are not constrained in my assembly, but it does have a revolution joint between this circle and this circle, which only allows it 1 degree of freedom. It doesn't translate and it stays in position. So that's a technique that I had never considered using before, and I don't really like it. I would like for it to be fully defined or constrained in the assembly environment and in the dynamic simulation environment. Notice when I go back to dynamic simulation, it does put that revolution joint back to the correct location. So that looks like a solution, like a forced solution that does work, but it doesn't give us a simultaneous solution in both the assembly environment and in the dynamic simulation environment. But it's something to keep in the back of your mind as a possible way of solving a difficult problem that you can't otherwise solve without getting an over-constrained condition or something just not operating correctly.